Welcome to the Portland Film Festival, presented by the Comcast for the fourth consecutive year. We want to thank Comcast for their team's support that ensures diverse voices are given a platform to share their unique perspectives in the world. We'd also like to thank Kerner Camera, Portland Mortgage, and Oregon Film. Find out more information or buy tickets online at PDXFF21. My name is Joe Stevens. I'm Director of Programming. I'd like to introduce the cast and crew of Rez Metal.
What up?
Hello.
So you guys want to go one by one? You know, who are you to the film? Little backstory.
Sure. Shall I go, Kyle, or are you going first?
Go for it.
All right. My name is Soltani Stone. I am the director producer of Rez Metal. This film took us around like 5 years to produce. And just very happy to share this film with your wonderful audience. Kyle.
All right. My name is Kyle Felter. I'm the main songwriter, band manager, everything of I Don't Conform in the film and it's about us traveling to Denmark from a reservation to record with Metallica's producer. And thank you guys for having us on right now.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us. I guess first, Kyle, what was it like? I guess first I've never heard a native metal band before. I mean, the only native band I really heard of was Indigenous, and they're just, kind of bluesy, but yeah, native metal, that just caught my attention.
It's always crazy because like metal is so huge on the Rez, but I guess we're kind of the first ones to really break out. But it's all still like a dream, kind of, We started out as a hobby and just playing for myself and love of music. Now here we are, doing an interview and everything. But yeah, there's so many other native metal bands up there. Pretty much everyone you run into is a metalhead that plays either drums or guitar or bass or can scream. But yeah, this whole thing's still taking me by surprise, So sometimes I'm short of words because the fact that people are taking us native musicians, so a little more serious now. That we don't just play power music every day,
Yeah. So Ash, what attracted you to this specific story being told here?
Well, I think exactly what you said. I think, and it's very ironic because on my last year when I was in the film school, grad school, I made a short documentary film about Western Shoshones, which is a very different film. It's more like an activist film about the land rights. Was a successful film at the time. But even on that time, despite my own exposure to and spending time on the reservation, I wasn't aware about any other type of music except with powwow music, flute, and occasionally country music because of how remote a lot of those communities are, and the whole culture. After completing another music documentary that I did previous to this one, I was I'm becoming more and more intrigued and interested about music documentaries. While I was doing research, I saw this little article on New York Times, like maybe not even half a page, tiny little article about this journalist who goes to do something write about something else on Navajo reservation, and they met this councilman who's actually his features in the film. And the councilman actually tells them that he's actually in a metal band, and he talks about the popularity of heavy metal bands. And I think that's what's really got my attention. And the first person I reached out to was the councilman Ed Yazzie, who was still a councilman. And he actually introduced me took me to a bunch of shindigs and concerts in the middle of nowhere And I was just at awe to see how popular and how vibrant that scene is. Almost, you feel like, the rock and roll. I haven't seen such a, a vibrant rock and roll scene in any sort of community in the especially past 10, 15 years. And I think that's what started the journey, which took us almost like 5, 6 years. And I didn't even meet Kyle till maybe my second or third trip, because Kyle, the story was completely different. I don't know if you're aware that we also wrote a book which was published last year called Rez Metal Inside the Heavy Metal Music throughout the Navajo Reservation, and that book is really focusing on the scene and different bands and everything. But while we were making this film, I met with Kyle, and we hit it up, and he reached out to me. He told me about what is happening. This is the time that he sent that email to Metallica's producer, Fleming Rasmussen, the Grammy Award winner, Metallica producer, and that's really intrigued my curiosity, because I'm always looking for those character-driven stories in my film, and I think those are usually tend to be most successful, and most effective type of film to make. And then I think as soon as I heard about this story, I knew right away that's gonna be kind of my film is gonna be built around their stories, while dealing with other things as well.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about influence. So Kyle, I mean, musically, I mean, Metallica was mentioned a lot in the film. I mean, you guys worked with Fleming Rasmussen, and like you became like a local celebrity there real quick. But I mean, it's musically, like, who do you guys draw influence from, or who do you want to? Yeah, yeah.
Of course, Metallica. I mean, that's what made me want to learn guitar in the first place. Was, my family, my mother, and they are all metalheads, and they raised me listening to metal. But I mean, anybody really who believes in what they're doing, regardless of genre, kind of a trendsetter. Metallica were trendsetters. Even there's all the way back to, I love movie music. Movie soundtracks. I love old hip hop and rap of the early '90s. It's really from anywhere. A big one for us, Ozzy Osbourne, Randy Rhoads. He interpreted classical music with metal guitar. Joe Satriani. You don't need words to listen to the music. So inspiration is really kind of anywhere. But definitely Metallica would be at the top of the list for that. Day and night for me.
Okay.
I got their producer to produce my music. It still trips me out. So.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like, I mean, I know you explained like he was just interested in the story of like a band from the Rez like making some music, and like that was cool. I mean, like, how did it feel to work with someone who's made like amazing like music, like someone like big right out of the gate like that? That's crazy.
It was very nerve-wracking, amazing, because we go from this tiny little Hogan Navajo dwelling to one of the most professional studios in the world, and that change in itself is a whole different, ballgame. But to sit there and work with him 10 hours a day, it was like we meshed. I felt like that's where I belong, is in the studio, and being able to sit with him, do arrangements, add or take away certain, watch him work, and his skills. It was just, I was just mind blown every day. To see all his plaques and awards from everything too. Like, why are we here?
Yeah, so that shot in there with the wall of gold records.
yeah, like what are we doing here? And this guy he can pick. We were told that he gets like emails a day, like sometimes 100 emails a day from bands all over the world that want to record with him. But I guess our story from the reservation is what captured him. This is amazing. It's like a dream still.
Let's talk real quick about how music, like brought together. I saw, little lessons for the kids in there. How does it feel bringing your community together through your music?
It was cool because no one has really tried doing that. I mean, before we started harassing the president's office, like I literally had to go there like for 2 months straight every morning before they would finally agree to meet with me or see like what is this guy want. And through us trying to promote, we hosted a lot of community events. We did like coat drives. We hosted like comedy shows and country music shows, our metal shows. Me and my friend Gerald Cecil was in the film, and we did all of that with like, no ride, no internet, no computer, no jobs, but we still made it happen because the kids need something back home. There's nothing back home. And I was always the rock and roll teacher, and the little kids would always come up to me, and I would learn stuff like SpongeBob or little things for them to learn, and that will get them intrigued to want to learn more about music itself. And it was just really cool to do that. And since COVID, I feel sorry because those kids they're stuck at home and they can't go out and learn. And I hear they really want to start doing the lessons again. So, but it was good. It was good to give the kids hope.
One thing I always like to ask about is, happy accidents, something, during filming that, you guys never intended to happen. Like you guys had a plan, you're going to record your record and you're going to, film it. Did anything happen that, wasn't planned that made everything so much better for you?
The whole thing is not planned.
But the whole thing, I think that's his, yeah, same. Yeah, I think, that's something that, that was the attitude that I adopted when I pursuing this film, because, I don't know if you have been to the Rez or, and then I think the subject matter, things are just happening on the fly. So and I think, it's really hard to, to pre-plan and, script everything. It just didn't, that's not how I work on this film, this particular project. And I think, there's a really strong degree of collaboration between me as a filmmaker and also the subject matter and the bands, in particular IDK and even Fleming, who actually really allowed me to roam around and and kind of invade their space to a certain degree. And that's not very pleasant when you're doing I did my really best to minimize my impact over there. But I think one happy, I think, incident is when you met the guy from was he from Nigeria, the one in Denmark, that you have this conversation.
Yeah.
Because he called him, he was like a film, he want to be also inspired, he was trying to make film, and he was also wasn't from Denmark. He was from I don't, was from like a Nigeria or Mali. He was from Mali, and they had this and I think it's part of the film. You see that they have this moment that he and them, are having this in conversation about, what are you doing here? You look so interesting, and he even, offered to support them. But I thought that moment, it's one of the one of my favorite moment of the whole film. And unfortunately I could only include part of that, conversation because it was much longer. But that was very humanizing moment, that two different strangers in a complete strange out of their elements, and they kind of formed this connection. I thought that was a very rewarding moment for me. You remember, Kyle, exactly what I'm talking about. He called himself African Boy or some he was making a film, and he said, you can search me on YouTube. And it was really, and I actually searched him, and he's an aspiring filmmaker. But it was just amazing encounter. I thought, that was great. a part of that, one of my memory for me while making this film.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Kyle, your time's a little short here tonight. How many projects you're working on with your band? Do you guys got anything you want to talk about?
We can stretch out my lunch break a little bit. I don't mind, any other projects? Well, I have other, and I'm slowly, pieces I have what I do myself, and it's random, really. There's no genre specific, but that's just under my filter. But that's not really my main focus. If I had the chance, I'll record it, put it out. I had it out somehow, but we are currently writing our second album, and we have plans to record with Fleming again. I sent him a couple demos, and he likes it. But the next thing is just getting the funds and everything going again. So that's the next goal. Well, songs first, and then the funds. And just enjoy stuff like this, interviews, and be grateful for it.
Yep.
So what did you guys want to tell the world with this film, aside from, that like we can fucking rock out here? Aside from that, what do you guys want to say about anything?
Kyle, do you want to say something or first?
Well, that no matter where you're from, what kind of position you're in, if you really believe in what you do, you can pretty much do anything. It sounds cheesy. I've always heard that growing up, that if you put your mind to it, you can do it, kind of stuff. But it is true. It is very true. How to a band, this may be one of the most stories that can certify that, is a band from the reservation who had no jobs or a vehicle or internet or a computer, somehow get all the way across the world with no money, just enough to record the album and make it back. Like anything's possible. And hell yeah, we can throw down as good as any other metal band out there too.
Yeah.
Nash, you want to chime in?
Yeah, sure. I think for me, in this divisive time, I think it's very important sometimes to bring our attention to this the shared human experience, and sometimes like and I think sometimes there's a good intention behind it, but again kind of repeating the same narrative over and over, and and telling the and I think one of the things that was very appealing to me about this film, and I communicate with everybody in this film, was that my goal was to make a rock and roll film that happened to take place on the Navajo reservation. It could have placed anywhere. It could place in Portland. It could place in Los Angeles. So and I think one of the things we try to do to kind of avoid a lot of places that we could explore more, and make it a lot more fit into that narrative. That's I'm an Iran. I was born in Iran, and I think that's something that whenever there's a film or report or news deals with Middle East, it's just this narrative repeats over and over, and it doesn't matter what side you are, right, left, center. It's just the same things over and over and again. And I think like the music itself, the heavy metal, which you didn't expect that coming from Navajo reservation. I think that's kind of things that I think we should tell more, because I think there's a lot of humanity this kind of stories, and I think that's what we try to achieve with this film, to just make a film that could take place anywhere, and really is a testament about the power of music and what music can do, the healing power of music regardless where you are, in this case on the Navajo reservation.
Gotta say, I love that idea of about breaking like stereotypes. Like I had no idea that there were rock bands or metal bands that came from the res like this. And that's crazy that there's a whole other world of things you don't experience because yeah, it doesn't like it's not the story people are telling. They're telling, you know,
Same
all the
stuff,
same
trauma,
stories
trauma,
every
a
time.
lot
Yeah.
of trauma, focus on trauma. And, it's important, but I think, triumph over the trauma is a lot more interesting for me. And, I think one of the things, and I think the film is trying to do is the goal is not important to me. The process of reaching to the goal and, the effort and the action, the moving towards the goal is what's really important to me. And I think what's really causes growth in everybody, because not everybody makes the same uh, ending line, ending, but crossing line. But I think what's matter is just not be in same place and just move and try to grow and develop yourself. And I think that was really inspiring about the story of IDK and all the bands over there on the reservations.
Yeah. So I guess for both of you, how has playing festivals, influenced your careers? Like, have you guys seen more interest in your band? Have you seen more, interest from distributors? Like, how's
Yes.
it helped you guys out?
Kyle.
Well, like it's awesome playing in front of people who've never seen us or heard us, and then getting their positive feedback. Like most of the people are not really big metalheads, and once we play our music, they feel it. They feel, the realness of it, and they respond to that. And we've been making contacts, and we're trying to build upon that and do more things coming up in the next few months. But going to these festivals and talking and explaining ourselves and seeing people inspired by our story, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I can, definitely comment on that one. I mean, the film is already still in festival circuit. It's been already almost like 30 film festival or something like that, which is, it's amazing, because, it's a labor of, I mean, there was some, funding behind it, but it's not a lot of, funding, it was a really labor of love and collaboration a lot of the time. And I think, yes, absolutely, you can tell, how important the film festivals uh, can be. I mean, there are definitely people are noticing you more. You don't need to sometimes reach out to people who actually reaching out to you about what's going on with your film, what your plans are. So definitely, it's been very, very, helpful move. And I'm really grateful for film festivals for giving us the chance, including your film festival, wonderful film festival Portland, which I'm very impressed with your organization and lineup and all that stuff. And I think I'm a film professor. That's my day job, and I think it's one of the things I really encourage the students is to make film and submit to film festivals. And sometimes people overlook on the how helpful, how important, what a great shortcuts that could be for their career if they get acknowledged in film festivals and have a good round. So I just want to thank all the film festivals and your film festivals, the organizers, volunteers, everybody behind that to giving an opportunity for independent filmmaker, artists like Kyle to showcase and shine. So I just want to thank you for that.
Yeah, for sure. Like this is one of my favorite inclusions here, like having a musical side of things. Like ordinarily we don't focus on music, but like this year, like yeah, let's try to bring in more. Because I mean, it's fun to tell two stories like that. Have a beautiful movie, but also like focus on artists doing something cool out there. I mean, it's just yeah, it's nice. Um, Real quick, anything else you want to say before we head on here?
I think I'm good. I just want to thank you again and wish you the best with the rest of the festivals and all the upcoming interviews that I'm sure you're having. Interesting and fascinating interviews that you're having. Yeah, and thank you again in advance for the audience who are actually watching our film. And we would love to hear your comments. Please reach out to us through our social media or website. I would love to hear your feedbacks, any comment, anything that we can provide, and support IDK. I don't conform. Those guys are rocking, rock and roll. Those guys.
Yeah.
Yep, I just want to say thank you guys and everybody for like I said, interested in all of this. I really am grateful for everything, for Ashkin and putting up with me for what, 5 years now.
Pleasure.
Yeah, and thank you guys for having me on here and dealing with me during my lunch on my work break. It'd be nice if someday my work is just to play guitar. That's my only goal from all of this, to be my job.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out tonight.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much.
I want to thank our filmmakers for putting on a great show for us. We want to thank the audience for helping us to support independent voices. You can go and vote for Rez Metal at portlandfilm.org, PDXFF.com. You can watch virtually. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, vote.
Okay, bye, everybody.
All right. Bye. See you guys later.
See you.